Welcome back, survivalists. Today we're taking a look at all of the survival and tactical gear in BattleBox Mission 78. And let's just jump right into it. So we're going to be going off of the pamphlet that comes here. And the first item in this month's box is going to be the Temp-N-TOSS disposable forehead thermometer strips. So that is these guys right here. Now this may not seem like a very exciting piece of gear here, but during emergency situations, something like this could really come in handy. And the purpose behind these temp strips is instead of having to take somebody's temperature nonstop over and over again, you take one of these strips and you simply place it on their forehead and you can get a reading of their temperature just by looking at it. So let's say it's worst case scenario, the pandemic, it's a new pandemic, it's out of control, and you have to quarantine some folks in your home. Right, you could put this on their forehead, one of these strips, and get a reading of their temperature without having to go up and like stick something in their mouth. So this is what they look like. You have multiple strips like this. And really, I see these being useful for kind of the worst case scenario, right? So let's go ahead and put this guy on there. And if you wait a little while, it will light up and give you an indication of what their temperature is. So if they're burning up, you'll be able to see that on here. So really, like, this is kind of a cool little neat tool here to have for these kind of worst case scenario situations. You know, you could use this with your kids as well if they have a bad temperature. But really, I see this coming in real handy if you are quarantining somebody and you don't want to go in there and have to take their temperature over and over again. So that's an interesting product, not super exciting, not super fun. This is the kind of thing you can just throw into your first aid kit and kind of a worst case scenario, you have that, you can use that. But not really something you necessarily can go and play with out in the woods. So let's move on to the next item, see if it's something a little bit more fun, a little bit more exciting. So the next item is going to be ReadyWise Early Dawn Breakfast Skillet. So they've given us some ReadyWise freeze-dried meals. So as a prepper and a survivalist, like, I have a lot of freeze-dried meals like this. I am always adding to my collection. I'm also, you know, an outdoor enthusiast. I go camping quite often, and these are what I bring. And I usually bring something like this to kind of test out the different brands and the different flavors, see which ones I like, see which ones I want to order another 10, 15, 20 of them to add to my stockpile. So I am always experimenting with new types, and this looks pretty simple on the back to make. You can actually cook it right here in the package. All you need to do is just add some hot water to it, stir it up, and then you've got some beautiful scrambled eggs to eat while you're camping, while you're hiking, while you're in an emergency situation. That's really what I see this coming in handy for, is you want to stock up on these during emergency situations. And I'm always testing out new meals like this. If you're ever in the military and you've eaten MREs, you know that there's some good MREs and then there's some god-awful MREs. And you just kind of figure out over time which ones are the ones that are good and have the M&Ms in them, and which ones are like the breakfast omelet that tastes absolutely terrible. So very cool. This is definitely a good item to have, and I recommend that you guys have quite a few of those in your home for those emergency situations. So moving along, the next item is something that I'm very excited about. And this is the BIGFOOT Bushcraft Fire Starter. So that would be these guys right here, the fire plugs. So I like fire starters. They make life so much easier when you're trying to build a campfire out in the woods somewhere. Even in like the best case scenario, if you're trying to start a fire with like some grass or some sort of tinder bundle that you have and you're a ferro rod, it can be challenging. And it makes life so much easier having these fire starters. And there's actually there's a huge variety of fire starters out there. A lot of different types, a lot of different styles. You have some paste, you have some hemp wire or jute cordage that's like laced with different things. There's powders that you can get, there's little tablets that you can get, little cakes. There's ones that you can actually make yourself at home using like dryer lint and wax. There's a bunch of different fire starters out there. So I am always experimenting with them because they're kind of cool, they're kind of fun to play with, but they also really come in handy. And so this is, again, kind of a unique style. This bag is absolutely packed full too, which I really appreciate. And these ones, you have these little I mean, it looks like they probably have some cotton threads or something in there. And I imagine you probably want to kind of break this up a little bit with your knife. And according to this package, this will burn for 5 minutes. So if you can't get a fire started with 5 minutes of fire with one of these fire starters, you're definitely doing something wrong. So very cool, I'm excited about this. I am kind of a connoisseur of fire starters. I have probably like 10 different types. And I actually have an entire bin right there full of my fire gear fire starters. So I will definitely 100% be testing these out. And you know, it's a big package. So I have a lot of like smaller like survival kits that I like to make for family members and everything. I could easily see breaking this package up and including like 5 of these in, you know, a survival kit to give to one of my nieces or nephews. So very cool. BIGFOOT Bushcraft fire plugs. I love that name, by the way, and I love that branding. All right, so we got one more item within the basic box this month, and then we go on to the advanced box or pro box and the pro plus box. Next item is going to be the Flitz Tactical Gun and Knife Care Kit. So that's this stuff right here. So within this kit, we have metal, plastic, and fiberglass polish. We have gun sealant. We have thick and thirsty microfiber cloth and tactical matte cleaner. So maintaining your gear is very, very important. If you've ever been deployed to Afghanistan or Iraq, you know how much dust can accumulate on yourself and on your gun and on all your gear and everything. And gear maintenance, especially when it comes to guns, is very, very important. But also when it comes to like things like Leatherman and knives as well. Now with the Leatherman or knife as well, even if it's kind of like dirty and dusty, it will still work. It's just not as convenient, doesn't move as smoothly. But with a gun, definitely, if you own a gun, you definitely need a cleaning kit for that. You need to maintain your weapon, maintain your gear. So I love that, man. Everybody needs to have a cleaning kit like this. And I think it's great that this also applies to other gear as well, like your Leatherman, like your knives, like your, maybe even your carabiners, like all your other metal equipment, including, you know, metal, plastic, and fiberglass as well. So it's not just about having the right gear. You need to know how to use that gear. You need to know how to maintain that gear as well. And that's really where this comes in handy. And I love that they have a nice giant microfiber cloth on there. So all your gear should be looking pretty spiffy, pretty polished. So very cool. So that's everything in the basic box. And before we move on to the advanced box, I want to give a quick shout out to BattleBox. BattleBox is how I discovered the latest and coolest survival and tactical gear every month. They're a monthly subscription service with 4 different tiers that you can sign up for, starting at just $30 a month. So if you want to get your own subscription to BattleBox and discover the latest and coolest gear every single month with me, use coupon code SurvivalKnowHow, and that'll save you 10% on your first purchase. That's an exclusive code just for my viewers. And I also have my affiliate link down in the description below this video. If you use my affiliate link to sign up, it helps me create more content on this channel and keep spreading the message and keep creating these videos for you guys. So let's move on to the advanced box, and the first item in the advanced box is going to be the Cat CT7 100 LED neck light. So I am actually very excited about this. This may be the item that I am most excited about in this box. And the reason why, if you've watched some of my other videos, I talk about how I don't really use directional flashlights anymore, right? That's a very archaic type of light source there. And I don't like directional flashlights because you only have one hand to do something with. I typically use headlamps now. That's like exclusively what I bring camping is a nice headlamp. A lot of my emergency kits have headlamps so that you have both hands free. But if I'm being honest, you know, headlamps can be kind of annoying sometimes, especially if you're trying to wear, if you're wearing a beanie or a hat or something. And it's just kind of awkward having this big heavy thing on your head. This seeks to solve that similar problem of being hands-free, but it doesn't go around your head. Instead, it goes around your neck. And I am very excited about that. And so here we go. This is what it looks like. Instead of having a big headlamp on your head, it just simply wraps around your neck. All the weight is right here on your shoulder, so it's really not very noticeable at all. And I have, you know, hands free to do whatever I need to do. And these things are pretty bright as well. You actually have, they're completely operated separately. They take one AA battery, each of them, and they actually have different brightness levels as well. So I'm pretty excited about this. I think this is cool. I know I'm kind of geeking out about this, but for when I'm camping, I'm absolutely going to bring this camping next time and test this out, see how it works. So if I'm having to do something, having both hands free to clean my weapon, clean my knife, clean my gear, to cook some food, to go to the bathroom, any of those things, having two hands free is super nice. I also see this being really helpful for women who go camping. I don't want to be sexist, but if somebody, they've done a lot of work on their hair or something, they don't want to put one of these headbands on. I'll admit, a lot of times I look like an idiot when I wear these headbands. It just, makes your hair look kind of dumb. So, I think women may appreciate something like this as well, rather than putting something on their head. So this is pretty cool, man. I am very excited about this. I'm more excited about this than I probably should be. It feels very high quality. It has some rubber grips on here, really comfortable neckband here as well. These things are actually adjustable as well. So if you wanted to, move them down like this, move them up, sign them in somebody's face, right? You can do that. You have that flexibility with these. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. This may be one of my favorite items in this box for this month. And so this was the CAT CT7-100 LED neck light. I have a link to this as well as all the other gear I have in this box down in the description below this video as well. So that's everything in the advanced box. Next, move on to the Pro box. Pro box has everything in the advanced box, basic box, plus one additional item. And this month, that additional item is the PD100 full face respiratory gas mask. Very cool. So as a prepper, I do think that people should have gas masks for each member of their families in their homes. Now, I'll be honest, I wouldn't say this is not like the first 10 items that you should buy if you're first starting off prepping, but it's on that list. It may be like the 30th item that you should buy. After you get all this other gear, you should get a gas mask for everybody in your family. And I'm a bit of a connoisseur of gas masks. I have quite a few. I have quite a big collection of gas masks just for emergency situations. What we're seeing now with the pandemic and all, I think is a good test run. I don't want to say good, but it's a test run. It shows how much worse all of this could have been. And we're actually not out of it yet. Now we're seeing all these different variants popping up. So even one of those, even the next 12, 24 months, one of those variants could get really out of control and get much more severe than it is right now. We don't know. And if it does, having a respiratory for everybody in your family is going to be pretty important. And you want to have this stocked up now. Let's say one of these variants does get really bad, really out of control. There's going to be a flood of people buying gas masks, right? You want to buy something like this before the emergency, not during the emergency. So yeah, this seems like a very high quality. It has a full face shield as well. A lot of the older gas masks, they just have single eye holes here. So I like this. A lot of rubber on the back here, a lot of rubber straps. I can tell this one has an anti-fogging device already, which is really nice. And just for comparison, I want to show you a couple other gas mask designs that I have. So you can actually buy these old Israeli gas masks that are all made in the 80s and 90s fairly cheap. You can get something like this $20, $30 on Amazon, or at least you could a couple of years ago. And Israel at one point had enough gas masks for every single citizen in their country. And a lot of them, they ended up selling them in bulk. I guess maybe they upgraded. But you can buy some cheap gas masks like this. And as you notice, it has individual eye slots there. It has one canister here versus a full face visor. This one can take two different canisters as well, so it's going to last a lot longer. And that's actually pretty important for if you need to switch out the canisters with you, which you do. In the military, we used to have masks similar to this, and what you're supposed to do is hold your breath and then unscrew the canister and quickly, try to fumble and get this other canister back in there. We used to have to do exercises where we do that, and if it cross threads, then you're kind of screwed. But something like this, you can have put one canister in and then take the other one out, right? So you don't have to hold your breath while you're switching canisters. It has a full face mask. It has the anti-fogging mechanism in there. Something like this, it can fog up quite easily. So this is kind of a cheap gas mask versus a much nicer one. And I actually have, like I said, I have quite a collection here. This is another, older gas mask that I have. This one I believe has a drinking straw attachment built into it. You can see it has individual eye holes instead of one complete visor. I have another one here. This is, I actually got this when I was in the military. That's why it's so beat up. This one again has the drinking straw, has a full face mask, but just not as high quality as something like this. Now, one thing I do notice is that all of these gas masks here, they all take the same canister, right? This one canister style is interchangeable with all of these gas masks here, right? Which makes things a lot easier. I believe on my Israeli gas mask, I had to buy an adapter, I believe, in order for it to fit this type, but that's, not that big of a problem. When I'm looking at this one, though, it does not look like it's the same fitting for this. So just keep that in mind, that if you're gonna buy multiple gas masks for your family, make sure they all take the same canister as well. You don't wanna be fumbling around, mixing up canisters. This is obviously a very different fitting for it than this much smaller fitting for it here. So just make sure that you stock up on the appropriate gas canisters or filters for your gas masks. So yeah, I'm very happy that they're including gas masks. I absolutely think that everybody should have a gas mask for every member of the family, as well as extra cartridges as well to screw into them. And this one, it seems like a very high quality gas mask. I love that you can have both of them on there. You have a full face visor. A lot of these other gas masks, they have different accessories that you can plug into it, like an amplifier for your voice. What I'm not seeing is a straw adapter, so you can hook this up to a canteen. I'm not sure if it has one somewhere, I'm just not seeing it. But yeah, very cool, man. Everybody should have a gas mask like this. So that's everything in the Pro box. Now we're gonna get into their Pro Plus, AKA their Knife of the Month Club. And this month's knife, I am very excited about. So this is the guy right here. And so this is the Williamson Copenhagen CHIBS two-tone knife. It's a $95 knife. And I'm pretty excited about this for a couple of reasons. One, it just looks cool. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to knives, there's so many different designs out there. The coolness factor is something you need to kind of factor into your head, right? And this thing looks sleek, it looks cool, it looks super aggressive. I love the big slit that they have right here in the blade. I love the kind of taper that they have right here to the point, and I love the scales on this thing most of all. So it's kind of hard to show this in the video, but the scales, feel like solid metal, and they have a grooved texture in them, like you might find with a wood texture. And I love that a lot. It's got a little choil right here for your fingers, got some jimping up top as well. When it comes to knives, I want texture in my scales. I want texture in the knife. I'm actually a fan of like rubber grips on knives. Some people turn away from that. I like that. I like wood grips on knives as well. This is another example of a knife that I have. And this one, they've got the micarta scales, but they've polished it all off and they've grinded it down to a very smooth finish, and I don't like that at all, right? I mean, I can still grab it just fine, but like my fingers just kind of move around a little too much on the blade. So I like scales and handles that have a good texture on it, and you don't have to worry about that with this knife here. This has a very cool wood grain type texture. It looks sleek as hell. And so I'm very happy with this knife. I think this is gonna be a very fun everyday carry knife to play around with. It feels very solid. It looks very sharp. It's very comfortable in your hand. It's got a nice belt clip there. It's got a single lock mechanism, which I like. It's very smooth. It's got the little peg here for you to flick this thing out. And I'll definitely be testing this one out, see if I want to make this my everyday carry knife. This is exactly the kind of things that I look for in an everyday carry knife. It's got a little lanyard hole here on the back of it as well. And just the coolness factor, man. This is a very slick, very cool looking pocket knife. And so once again, this is the Williamson Copenhagen CHIBS two-tone knife. So out of everything in the box, I love this knife. I'm very happy with this. And then also the CAT CT7 100 neck light. I'm more excited about this than I should be, honestly. I'm definitely going to be testing this out next time I go camping, as well as the ReadyWise breakfast, and I'm going to be testing out these BigFoot Bushcraft plugs as well. So once again, guys, I'll have links to all these items down in the description below. And if you guys want to get your own BattlBox subscription, I will have my affiliate link down in the description below. You can open up these boxes every single month with me as well. And if you want to check out some other cool gear, check out some of my other BattlBox videos right over here. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you over in the next video.